Chapter 230 Disturbed Peace of Mind. As she listened to the conversation between Neely, Xiaoyu, and Yi Xian, they fell into a deep thought and realized something. They just met Xiaoyu, so even Yi Xian was cautious towards him. To suddenly have a stranger follow them around in a place like the Nine-Layered Deathlands was indeed rather ill-advised. Since there weren't any prejudices, then why is the bother? Or why is Brother Neely chasing me away? If Brother Neely is planning on doing something, I won't disturb you. Xiaoyu's eyes narrowed slightly as he smiled towards Neely. At Xiaoyu's words, Neely felt a shiver in his heart. Xiaoyu's aura hinted at a deep and immeasurable strength. Neely was worried that if he tries to forcefully chase Xiaoyu away, Xiaoyu might suddenly turn hostile. It seemed that this guy was planning to shamelessly cling to them, without any intentions of leaving. If Brother Xiaoyu wishes to stay, it's fine. However, if you were to happen upon an unfortunate situation, you have to take care of yourself. Neely went silent for a moment. It seems like he'll have to think of other methods to chase Xiaoyu away. Furthermore, they have to find Yu Yan and the others as soon as possible. With just the three of them, they might not be able to deal with Xiaoyu's safety. Might not be to deal with him safely. Brother Neely can be rest assured. There isn't a single person in the nether realm who can lay a finger on me, Xiaoyu said proudly. Neely gave Xiaoyu a glance. Was he being confident or just arrogant? To think he actually said that there wasn't anyone in the nether realm who could touch him. Xiaoyu is a mysterious person. For now, Neely could only conceal his suspicions deep inside his heart. Xiaoning glanced at Neely and then at Xiaoyu. Although she believes that Xiaoyu is a good guy, Neely must have his own reasons for his actions. Within her heart, she holds absolute trust for Neely. However, Xiaoyu had left a good impression on her. Therefore, Xiaoning was a little conflicted. The four of them walked together along the lake, searching for the others. Is that the spiritual origin fruit? Neely's gaze was directed towards an area in the forest beside the lake. There, the group saw a fruit resting on its stem, sparkling like a crystal. Neely walked towards the spiritual origin fruit. He gave Xiaoyu a sideways glance and asked, "Is Brother Xiao interested in the spiritual origin fruit?" Hearing Neely's words, Xiaoyu shook his head and said, "I have a special physique. Therefore, these special origin fruits are useless to me. You guys can have it." Such a precious item like the spiritual origin fruit, and yet Xiaoyu doesn't show any intention of snatching it. Just what is he planning? Neely went silent for a brief moment, then bent down beside the spiritual origin fruit and slowly plucked it and stored it inside his interspatial ring. If he consumed it now, he would need to spend some time to process and digest this energy. Furthermore, a single spiritual origin fruit was nowhere near enough to share with everyone. Therefore, he decided to store the first one and continue searching other places. Who knows, there might be more spiritual origin fruits elsewhere. Brother Neely, in this world, men die for fortune, while birds die for food. One man snatches, while another seizes. In the end, those who die stay dead, and those who are injured stay injured. Where's the meaning in that? Xiaoyu smiled lightly. From his perspective, Neely was also a person greedy for fortune. Hearing Xiaoyu's words, Neely shot him a few more glances. He never expected such ideology from Xiaoyu. So he smiled and said, "As we live in this world, there are 7 emotions and 6 desires, all accompanied with endless distress. According to your words, wouldn't we be better off dead? However, if a person dies, it will be the same as the flame of a candle being extinguished, leaving nothing behind. Whereas the world where one man snatches, while another seizes, seems much more interesting and lively." At Neely's words, Xiaoyu laughed involuntarily. But after he carefully thought it over, he realized a philosophy theory in it. If one didn't fight for anything, what is the meaning to be alive? He never expected Neely to share his own opinion. Xiaoyu smiled and thought that he was certainly an interesting guy. "I'm a little interested in you now. Why are you so proficient in the inscription patterns? Senior inscriptionist? Now that's something." Seeing that Xiaoning and Yi Xian were far off, chatting with each other, Xiao Yu crossed his arms and smiled. Hearing what Xiao Yu said, Neely felt shocked. How does Xiao Yu know that he was a senior inscriptionist? The more Neely thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. Just who was Xiao Yu? This guy was actually able to investigate him quite thoroughly. The fact that he had gotten close to Ning'er was probably some part of his plan. Neely clenched his fist tightly as he walked up to Xiao Yu and said in a soft voice, I don't know where you came from, or how you managed to investigate me so thoroughly, but if you dare to harm anyone close to me, I will make you taste regret. When he sensed that Neely was moving closer, Xiao Yu fell a step back, putting some distance between them. He looked up and said, Brother Neely, must be joking. I'm merely curious about you, and have no intention to harm anyone near you. That's good. Neely went silent for a brief moment. He has no idea if Xiao Yu was speaking the truth. It was hard for him to let down his guard around him. You still haven't answered my question, Xiao Yu politely smiled. Neely pondered for a while before answering. He naturally wouldn't tell anyone about his rebirth. Inscription patterns are another kind of law. Once you're familiar with the law, you will naturally know where the profound is. Law? The moment Xiao Yu heard the word, his bright eyes narrowed. He turned to ask, has Brother Neely already comprehended the profound of law energy? Xiao Yu's words shocked Neely. This person even knew about the profound of the law energy? Just where exactly is he from? The pale blue of his eyes were like the blue luster of sapphires. They were unreasonably beautiful. For that brief moment, Neely was stunned, but he immediately recovered. No comment. However, if you were to tell me of your origins, I might tell you, said Neely. Xiao Yu lightly smiled and said, Actually, Brother Neely, don't need to say anything. I already know that you've not only comprehended the profound of law energy, you've even comprehended two types of law energy. For two types of law energy to appear in a single person's body, that was an eye-opener. Neely felt a headache at Xiao Yu's words. Just what exactly was going on? Xiao Yu even knew about that. In front of Xiao Yu, Neely felt as if he had been stripped naked, his every secret exposed. However, since he no longer had any more secrets, his speech became more direct. If Xiao Yu really had any ill intentions, he should have taken action a while back. So Neely said, I have no idea who you are or how you found out these things, but since you already know, why still ask? I just wanted to see if you're willing to speak the truth. Xiao Yu said with the corner of his lips rising. Neely dumbfoundedly stared at Xiao Yu, asking all these questions just to see if he was willing to tell the truth. So what if he was willing or unwilling? This was simply meaningless. Neely couldn't understand Xiao Yu's train of thought at all. In addition to that, I'm also interested in Sister Ning'er. Therefore, I asked to come along, Xiao Yu said as he lightly smiled. Neely's gaze turned cold and said, If you have any ill intentions towards Ning'er, then I might get a little impolite. Ill intentions? Brother Neely is being too serious. How could I have any crooked thoughts about Sister Ning'er? She's so sincere and kind-hearted. I'm not willing to hurt her. A sweet and graceful lady should be matched with a gentleman. Since you're unwilling to be with her, then there shouldn't be a reason for Brother Neely to prevent anyone else from going after her, right? Xiao Yu flashed a broad smile as he spoke. Then he turned around and walked in Xiao Ning'er's direction. Hearing Xiao Yu's words, Neely was suddenly stunned. If Xiao Yu was being serious, what excuse did Neely have to stop him? At the same time, after hearing Xiao Yu's words, why did he feel so unhappy? It felt as though someone was trying to snatch away something that belonged to him. He recalled all the times they had shared, starting with the moment he had helped Ning'er cure her illness. Perhaps Neely didn't want to admit that she had already become an indispensable part of his life. Xiao Yu seemed as though he could see through everything. He definitely did that on purpose. But what was Neely supposed to do next? After his rebirth, Neely wanted to guard everything and not let any harm come to his family and friends. Although he controlled a certain amount of authority, sometimes his action was still forced by circumstance. Occasionally, he would also feel helpless. Guarding in silence could also be considered a form of companionship and camaraderie. Perhaps This was what Nigger thought too. Neely also felt that Xiao Yu was a mysterious person and didn't have any good intentions. Anyways, if Xiao Yu intends of touching Nigger, then he'll have to go through me, Neely snorted inwardly. After his rebirth, the fact that so many of his cards have been exposed to an outsider made Neely feel extremely threatened. If he couldn't help even keeping Xiao Yu under control, then he has waited living for so long. Xiao Nigger and Yi Zian quietly stood by the lake. The lake water reflected with clear luster that made both of them look as though they were fairies in a painting, beautiful to the extent of being impossible to replicate. Suddenly, the piece of the lake exploded as Chang Ming and a zombie Jiao dragon brought their battle to the surface, creating raging waves on the lake water. Careful! Neely quickly rushed over. Yi Zian and Xiao Nigger retreated out of range of the energy ripples. The battle here has disturbed my peace of mind, Xiao Yu unenthusiastically complained. A long jade hairpin appeared in his hand and shot towards his zombie Jiao dragon, and Chang Ming was a whoosh. A streak of light was as graceful as a dancer. Was a ding! A hairpin knocked the lightning spear out of Chang Ming's hands. Just as Chang Ming was about to swing his lightning spear and kill the zombie Jiao dragon, he found a majestic and mighty power hit his lightning spear. Instantly, his lightning spear was knocked out of his hands and flew far away. His entire arm couldn't stop trembling, and his right palm was filled with traces of blood. He glared at Neely and his group while a deep fear flashed through his eyes. Now what? What kind of terrifying expert has he encountered now? Since this expert had already knocked his lightning spear away, it was definitely just a warning. Chang Ming decided that he was no longer wanted to stay around and quickly backed off, retrieving his lightning spear before flying off. Astonishment appeared in Neely's eyes as he watched Xiao Yu. It seemed that he had underestimated Xiao Yu's strength by a long stretch.